In Windsor on February 22, 2026, Buckingham Palace made waves of quiet intensity across the royal corridors as it issued a formal declaration that fused tradition with strategy. In an official statement released this morning, it was confirmed that His Serene Highness has been formally designated as the sole heir to the legendary Thornfield Estate, a secluded gem that has long remained a private jewel tucked within the Crown's extensive rural holdings. The palace's announcement stunned observers with its precision and strategic timing, underscoring a generational transfer that carries weight far beyond mere property. Issued at exactly 9 a.m. Greenwich Mean Time from the Privy Council office and personally endorsed by alongside, this declaration marked an exceptionally rare public acknowledgement of the careful handover of royal property to the younger generation. The release, drafted under sovereign decree and guided by the Crown Estate's rural succession provisions, reads, "The Thornfield Estate shall pass in full title and custodianship to His Serene Highness, Prince James, Earl of Wessex, effective this 22nd day of February in the year 2026. The announcement arrived mere hours before the weekly Privy Council meeting at Clarence House. Inside a discreet chamber tucked within the rolling lowlands of West Berkshire, members of the Royal Household Property Division and legal representatives from the Crown Estate Trust gathered in a closed-door briefing. The scene was quiet, yet the historical significance of the moment resonated beyond the walls, a symbolic bridge between centuries of royal tradition and the next generation of stewardship. Thornfield Estate stretches across more than 12,000 acres, its eastern border kissed by the River Pang and the northwestern perimeter defined by the chalk ridges of the Northwest Downs. Established during the early Georgian period under the patronage of Queen Caroline of Thou, Thornfield initially belonged to the Huguenot financier family before being returned to the Crown, a legacy of strategic philanthropy and royal acquisition that set the stage for centuries of stewardship. Today, Thornfield boasts an official valuation of £147 million, though whispers among estate insiders at Savills and Knight Frank suggest the true worth could be significantly higher when factoring in its heritage assets, privately held artwork, equestrian facilities, and renewable land grants. The estate's centrepiece, Thornfield Manor, is a Palladian masterpiece constructed in 1742, featuring 74 rooms, a meticulously walled Renaissance garden, and what architectural historians describe as one of Britain's last truly intact royal libraries outside Windsor Castle. The estate's modern enhancements are equally impressive. The grounds include a solar farm and equestrian centre, updated in 2019 under the Duchy of Cornwall's Pilot Sustainability Initiative, a private chapel adorned with stained glass windows gifted by Queen Mary in 1936, and the Royal Woodland Laboratory, originally commissioned for botanical experimentation and reopened by Princess Anne in 2021. For royal insiders, the inheritance represents far more than a simple logistical transfer. It marks Prince James's official transition into active royal stewardship, a role for which he has been privately groomed under Princess Anne's careful supervision since 2002. Sources confirm that James began spending substantial time at Thornfield following his 17th birthday in November 2024. King Charles III's signature on the transfer deed is widely interpreted as a strong gesture of institutional support, countering speculative media narratives about internal royal tensions. As Lord William Stanford, a retired Royal Land Commissioner, remarked, "It's not just about a title, it's about duty, continuity, and preparing the next generation to be more than ceremonial figures." The timing of the announcement was far from coincidental. It came just days after Prince William's investiture, and in the aftermath of negative publicity surrounding the Sussex financial scandals. In signalling James's rise, the Crown was clearly reinforcing internal unity while projecting forward-looking continuity. Royal historian explained that entrusting Thornfield to James reflects a deliberate strategy to cultivate a younger, dutiful, and land-literate face for the monarchy. Symbolism extends beyond the estate itself. Princess Anne is expected to accompany Prince James on an official walkabout of the estate's villages on Sunday, February 25th, where he will meet local tenants, conservation workers, and church representatives. BBC South will cover the event as part of the upcoming royal documentary Stewards of the Land, highlighting not only the historical and architectural significance of Thornfield, but also the hands-on, duty-driven ethos now being instilled in the air. The February 22nd proclamation did more than simply name James as the legal inheritor. It signalled a broader recalibration of the House of Windsor's priorities, emphasising substance over spectacle and strategic discretion over media theatrics. For years, Thornfield has served as a sanctuary, isolated from the Hollywood-infused scandals that have repeatedly dogged the monarchy. Prince James, the reserved youngest child of and a Whig, has largely remained at the margins of public coverage. His reputation for steely discipline and a quiet, deep understanding of heritage has long been noted by palace insiders, even if it has rarely made headlines. Thornfield's passing to James is not merely a gesture of inheritance, it is a reward for character, a calculated investment in continuity. Perched on the northern edge of Hampshire, the estate spans 4,700 acres of rolling countryside, discreetly bordered by ash groves, private access roads, and military-controlled woodland. Its foundations date back to 1762, when George II, newly crowned, commissioned it as a countryside retreat for his botanically inclined daughter, Princess Elizabeth. Over the decades, the estate evolved from a greenhouse and observation lodge into a fortified pastoral enclave, serving as a wartime communications hub during the Blitz, an agricultural research centre under Queen Mary, and most recently, as a private training ground for young royals preparing for active service. Thornfield functions somewhere between Sandringham-style leisure and Balmoral sovereignty, balancing ceremonial elegance with operational readiness. Perhaps its greatest strength lies hidden underground. The estate's tunnels, restored and modernised over decades, include key outbuildings, a chapel, and a subterranean command room originally designed during the Cold War. Prince Philip personally oversaw their reinforcement following the Cuban Missile Crisis, ensuring Thornfield could support autonomous royal operations for up to 41 days without external input. While these capabilities have never been publicly tested in an era defined by post-Brexit sensitivities and heightened media scrutiny, the palace clearly values assets capable of disappearing from public view without diminishing their strategic importance. The February 22nd announcement was deliberately understated. No press conference, no balcony appearances, no ceremonial handshakes. A statement printed on Windsor-embossed stationery quietly appeared at 9:45 a.m. Greenwich Mean Time on the Royal UK Succession page. Within minutes, the Palace Correspondence Network had flagged the update. Prince James, Earl of Wessex, had been granted life stewardship of Thornfield, with full executive and ceremonial authority over all titles, lands, and crown-aligned cultural properties therein. At 19, James was reportedly informed of his new role in person by Princess Anne during a private breakfast at Gatcombe Park 2 days prior. One insider described the exchange as concise, firm, and profoundly meaningful. Princess Anne told him, "You've earned this, not through applause, but through presence." For a generation accustomed to drama, exile, and explosive interviews, James's rise may appear understated, but its consequences are deep. As a retired Lord Chamberlain once told The Times, "The true Windsors don't always arrive with drums. Sometimes they just show up and never leave." Adding to the narrative intrigue, sources note the emerging collaboration between James and during the annual Norfolk retreat in late January, Princess Charlotte, widely regarded as the most naturally gifted royal of her generation in diplomacy, literacy, and speechcraft, personally requested that James join her for estate orientation briefings. James, initially surprised, obliged, spending 4 days at the Sandringham Annex studying estate management software, renewable land grants, and emergency evacuation protocols for Crown landholders. Charlotte's evaluation was succinct. He doesn't ask twice, he just gets it. The Sussex household maintained silence throughout this period, Yet the timing of Thornfield's transfer was impossible to ignore. Only 6 days earlier, Meghan Markle's controversial media appearance in Dubai, featuring luxury endorsements and royal iconography, drew rebuke from Princess Anne and the UK Parliament's Heritage Protection Committee. For many royal watchers, entrusting Thornfield to James served as a calculated counter-narrative, restoring dignity, lineage, and operational seriousness away from monetized identity politics. A senior royal source summarized sharply, "Harry left behind estates, heritage, and duty for brand equity. James is now holding what Harry discarded." On the evening of February 21st, under a heavy velvet sky, Thornfield shifted from being a royal estate to a sacred, entrusted stronghold, blessed by legacy and shielded by silence. There were no press invitations, no drone flyovers, no live streams or ceremonial hashtags. Only 3 unmarked black Range Rovers rolled through Berkshire lanes and military-guarded backroads, arriving at the northern Thornfield Gate just after dusk. The official handover took place within the Chapel of the Oak, a structure so seldom used that it does not appear on modern architectural maps, yet one that has borne witness to more royal vows and private oaths than almost any cathedral in London. What unfolded that night was a turning point, not just for James, but for the House of Windsor. In the quiet shadows of Thornfield Estate, the Chapel of the Oak, constructed in 1826 by Queen Adelaide, stood as a testament to nearly 2 centuries of royal history and sacred tradition. Carved from native elm and stone, its modest spire barely rose above the surrounding ash trees, yet its significance towered over all who entered its hallowed halls. For generations, it has served as the spiritual heart of the estate, a sanctuary during wartime, a place of baptism for lesser-known royals, and the clandestine site of Queen Elizabeth II's most secretive estate inspections during the late 1970s. On that fateful night, the chapel's bell tolled exactly 9 times, echoing through the estate in a code understood only by those within the inner circles of the crown. This was the ceremonial intern heredy, a succession ritual so rare that it had only been performed 4 times since the reign of George V. Shrouded in secrecy, never televised, and largely undocumented in public records, the ritual is known to unfold in 3 precise movements: the sealing, the offering, and the vow. According to accounts provided by a palace archivist and 2 former ceremonial aides, the choreography of the night's proceedings carried the weight of history and the expectation of generations. At the centre of this ritual lay a heavy wooden vault retrieved from the royal archives, a 4-drawer cabinet colloquially known as the Elizabeth Box. For decades, only 3 of its drawers had ever been opened publicly. One in 2002 following the death of Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother, one in 2021 during Prince Philip's funeral planning, and one in 2022 after the passing of Queen Elizabeth II herself. The 4th drawer, however, remained sealed until this night. Duchess Sophie, flanked by Princess Anne, stood solemnly beside the vault as the key turned with a precise click. Inside lay a velvet envelope containing a handwritten letter addressed to James alone. Forensic royal scribes confirmed it was penned by Queen Elizabeth II in the winter of 2016. Though its contents remain a closely guarded secret, a palace source revealed that James read it slowly, tears welling in his eyes, yet never spilling over. Folding the letter carefully, he pressed a kiss to its corner and murmured a solemn, "Understood." Once the vault was resealed and restored to its hidden recess beneath the chapel floor, a fresh engraving on the eastern wall quietly marked the moment. True Windsor loyalty, it seems, is measured not in public acclaim, but in steadfast commitment. The ceremony continued with symbolic offerings representing both duty and vigilance. First, Princess Anne presented James with the Clementine dagger, forged in 1909 and last carried by King George VI during an inspection of wartime command tunnels. The blade remained sheathed, its significance lying not in violence, but in vigilance. Anne whispered softly, "Guard the realm without ever raising it." Next, a wooden vessel filled with soil from the Thornfield orchard, the same land where King Charles planted his first tree at the age of 8 under the watchful eyes of the late Queen, was handed to James by Prince Edward. "This land doesn't belong to us," his father instructed. "We belong to it." Kneeling, James placed both offerings upon the chapel altar, completing the sacred act. The estate, by law, had changed hands, but more profoundly, it had passed through belief, trust, and the weight of history. No cameras recorded the event, no microphones captured the words. Insider accounts confirm that as James placed his hand upon the altar Bible, he spoke only 4 words: "I serve, not replace." These words, later verified by a ceremonial clerk, were a direct nod to the internal Windsor Creed, a code dating back to the abdication crisis of 1936. The statement was clear. James's rise was neither a challenge to Prince George nor an ambition against Princess Charlotte. His was a role defined by discretion, strategy, and duty. As the vow concluded, Princess Charlotte entered the chapel unannounced, her formal green sash glinting, the very sash gifted to her by Queen Elizabeth II during the final summer of her reign. Approaching James, she presented a wax-sealed envelope containing a hand-drawn map of the royal estates, annotated in her elegant cursive. "You'll need this," she whispered, "before the cameras find you." The map detailed each region's risk profile, inheritance structure, and plans for future restoration, a quiet passing of knowledge and responsibility from one generation to the next. By dawn, the transfer of Thornfield was complete. James emerged from the chapel, flanked briefly by Princess Anne and Duchess Sophie, before walking the estate perimeter alone for over an hour. No photos were taken, no flags waved, no ceremonial horses accompanied him. Just the open fields and the low hum of winter wind across the silent landscape. The following morning, Buckingham Palace quietly uploaded a single black and white photograph to its official archive. The Chapel of the Oak, illuminated from within and framed by a waxing crescent moon. No caption accompanied it, yet for those attuned to the language of legacy, the message was unmistakable. James was no longer a footnote, he was the fortress. While the serene public imagery suggested calm, the palace's inner circles buzzed with implications. According to sources close to Clarence House, the final drafting of the inheritance decree, formally titled the Sovereign Endowment Confirmation of February 15th, had not been without contention. Senior courtiers initially lobbied for the estate to remain under dormant custodianship, citing James's youth and the constitutional ambiguity surrounding his long-term role. Yet King Charles III decisively overruled their objections during a closed-door meeting attended by Princess Anne, Prince William, and the Lord Chamberlain. Thornfield, symbolic and strategic, was to be entrusted entirely to James. Thornfield is more than pastoral land. It is a cornerstone of the monarchy's Sustainable Estate Development Plan, first outlined in the little-known Crown Lands Modernization Act and expanded during the final years of Queen Elizabeth II's reign. The estate serves as a model for carbon-neutral agriculture, heritage conservation, and discreet public engagement. Controlling Thornfield equates to shaping the monarchy's green image for generations. Prince William, quietly advancing the Duchy of Cornwall's regenerative farming initiatives, reportedly welcomed the decision, viewing James's stewardship as a safeguard against contentious claims. Notably absent from any celebration was Prince Harry. Despite his past involvement in estate preservation, including the Sussex Royal Foundation's short-lived biodiversity fund, Harry was deliberately excluded. A senior palace source remarked, "If James controls Thornfield, Harry cannot set foot here without permission. It's not about money anymore. It's about narrative. Indeed, the monarchy's unspoken currency in the modern media age is control of its story." James's role reflects heritage, duty, and discretion, subtly counterbalancing his cousin Archie's undefined public position. Adding to the evolving family dynamics, Lady Louise Windsor, daughter of Prince Edward, has been appointed Thornfield Heritage Steward. Known for her growing influence in equestrian and conservation circles, her appointment signals a renewed inter-family alliance leaning toward Princess Anne's disciplined governance and William's streamlined monarchy. The ceremony is set for March 2nd at the Estate Chapel, attended by King Charles, Princess Anne, Prince James, Lady Louise, and select trustees of the Royal Land Charter. Notably, Queen Camilla is absent, citing scheduling conflicts, fueling whispers of strategic positioning within the family's post-Sussex realignment. Already, heritage bloggers and royal watch forums are dissecting the newly engraved coat of arms, a crowned hawthorn branch and the motto Veritas per Heredi, truth through inheritance. The hawthorn symbolizes both defense and resurrection, a fitting emblem for a monarchy in quiet, deliberate renewal. Meanwhile, voices from the York branch remain silent. Princess Beatrice, long considered a potential candidate for rural stewardship, has been quietly edged out as the younger Yorks gradually yield influence. One former palace archivist, speaking anonymously, summarized, "This isn't just about land, it's about who the crown considers essential for its narrative survival." Prince James now carries a legacy far larger than acreage alone. Questions linger. Will he one day be styled Duke of Thornfield? Will Gloucestershire see a broader relocation of royal assets from Sandringham or Balmoral? And crucially, will the estate remain an exclusively royal symbol or evolve into a foundation for public engagement? The answers may unfold during the next quarter's parliamentary review of royal estate funding, but for now, Thornfield stands as a fortress, silently guarding the future of the monarchy. From the early glow of dawn across the mist-laden hedgerows of Thornfield Estate, one reality emerged unambiguously. The monarchy has spoken, and in that carefully measured declaration, a new contender has quietly risen, not as a prince of rebellion or spectacle, but as a prince of roots, of lineage, and of enduring responsibility. The significance of this royal decree, by the time morning light filtered through the sprawling oaks and rolling meadows, had already cemented itself in the silent architecture of power. This moment was far more than a conventional inheritance. It was a shield, a wall of subtle yet unyielding strength, deliberately raised to preemptively limit the influence of the Sussex line. While Prince Harry has remained publicly silent, insiders in Montecito revealed that his legal team had been preparing for months to propose a co-stewardship model over key royal estates, particularly those historically tied to Queen Elizabeth II. Thornfield, a jewel in the Crown's rural holdings, was at the top of that list. Now, it has been removed from contention permanently. According to documents obtained by the House of Windsor investigative team, as early as autumn 2025, a memorandum titled Cross-Hereditary Access Proposal was quietly submitted by Harry's advisors. The aim was to secure shared symbolic rights over royal lands connected to Diana's legacy, including estates in Gloucestershire and Norfolk. Presented as gestures for healing and heritage preservation, the language now reads as a subtle attempt to reclaim influence through physical proximity to royal history. Yet the Crown moved decisively first. Princess Anne and Prince William fully supported the complete endowment of Thornfield to Prince James. The estate has now become a locked gate. No Sussex ceremonies, no staged photo opportunities, no media-ready strolls through the fields once tended by their great-grandmother. The absence of any Sussex presence at the confirmation ceremony was deliberate. A leaked guest itinerary, reviewed by palace legal consultants, revealed that the King's private office meticulously vetted each attendee. The instructions were clear: no individuals with unresolved legal disputes, public controversies, or ongoing media entanglements. The message was unmistakable. This was not just a snub, it was a warning, delivered without words, but resounding in its precision. At this pivotal moment, the Sussexes find themselves increasingly constrained in both the US and UK. Their luxury media contracts have dwindled or evaporated entirely, while efforts to pivot to high-end wellness branding via ventures like Archiel Atelier have stumbled. Once powerful claims to family legacy, the currency that sustained their influence, are now quietly diluted by a growing set of royal narratives that deliberately exclude them. Meanwhile, Lady Louise's rapid rise as Thornfield's heritage steward has accelerated this exclusion. As a daughter of the Wessex line, Louise was never expected to inherit central royal titles, yet her discretion, loyalty, and academic rigor have earned her the trust of the Queen's inner circle. In many ways, she embodies the qualities Meghan Markle's team may have hoped for in a next-generation royal: elegance, dignity, and institutional access. Now, with Prince James holding the estate and Lady Louise acting as its guardian, Thornfield transforms into something more than property. It becomes a living symbol of filtered succession, a narrative firewall designed to protect heritage, stability, and public perception. The ripple effects of this strategic alignment have already been felt in California. Sources close to former Sussex staff suggest Meghan Markle felt deeply insulted by the announcement. One anonymous agent associated with her former Spotify team described the move as deliberate retaliation, cloaked in pastoral charm. Some observers have gone further, framing it as a quiet exile. Meanwhile, public reaction has overwhelmingly favoured the royal family. The hashtag Prince James Rising trended for 18 hours, flooded with messages praising the monarchy's measured restoration of order. Tabloids hailed the move as the restoration of the true line and the end of the Sussex shadow. Royal historian Dr. Helena Ashcroft summarised the situation succinctly. When you give a boy an estate, a title and a team, all without drama, all by tradition, you aren't just honouring him, you are sealing off an alternative future. Prince James, for his part, responded with grace and poise in a brief statement recorded for the Royal Channel. "I will protect what has been entrusted to me." No theatrics, no spectacle. The accompanying footage showed him walking the dew-soaked fields of Thornfield at sunrise, flanked only by 2 Highland ponies and the new royal dog, Bracken. Legacy in motion. Deliberate and silent, but the Thornfield transfer is more than a symbolic gesture. It is architectural, methodical, and strategic. King Charles has quietly initiated the greatest restructuring of royal succession since the abdication crisis. Unlike Edward VIII's dramatic abdication, this is not retreat, it is strategic recalibration. Sources close to the Privy Council confirmed that under the discreet direction of King Charles and Princess Anne, the Crown Estate Office implemented a legacy zoning directive in late autumn. This initiative does not concern Thornfield alone. It extends to regional estates including Balmoral, Sandringham, and select Cornish properties. Each estate is now slated to host future royal functions in a manner that subtly excludes the Sussex lineage. The long-term effect: strategic insulation. Thornfield's appointment of Prince James as its steward serves as the prototype for this broader vision. Prince James is a young, trusted heir raised within full royal structure, shielded from Hollywood influence and commercial ambitions. Lady Louise acts as the anchor of the blueprint, educated, loyal, and shielded from tabloid distortion. Together, they constitute what palace aides now call the clean branch. Prince William has privately endorsed this shift. One senior aide described a recent conversation with King Charles as a handshake agreement to reset the monarchy's roots deeper into trust, not title. The message is unequivocal. Royalty is earned through behaviour, not merely bloodline. In an era dominated by lawsuits, podcasts, brand launches, and media spectacles, King Charles is quietly demonstrating the power of precision over punishment. Contrast could not be sharper. Meghan Markle remains entangled in press complaints, brand rescues, and debt negotiations. Prince Harry, despite reported attempts at reconciliation, is isolated legally and spiritually, blocked from the UK by internal royal reviews, citing misalignment with the Crown's strategic vision. Meanwhile, a different future is emerging. Over the past month, Princess Catherine has been observed attending meetings at Cambridge and Oxford, reportedly discussing the development of a next-generation sovereign curriculum. Details remain scarce, but the initiative promises a structured academic path for young royals, emphasising constitutional history, ethics, and public service. Public diplomacy and non-commercial stewardship are central to the design, a school built to prevent another Montecito scenario. While enrolment for Prince James has not been confirmed, sources indicate his godparents include a High Court justice, a climate scientist, and a former MI6 ethics officer. If accurate, this positions the monarchy to prepare its youngest heirs not only to wear crowns, but to wield institutional knowledge and reputational resilience in a world that scrutinizes royalty like global corporations. In underscoring this evolution, Buckingham Palace issued a final note on Thornfield. The estate is entrusted not as a reward, but as a responsibility. Its preservation relies not on sentimentality, nostalgia, or public acclaim, but on the careful stewardship of future generations. No photographs, no live streams, no ceremonial fanfare, just a printed statement on Windsor embossed parchment sent to embassies worldwide and archived in the national records. More than any press conference, it speaks volumes. While speculation swirls over the Sussexes' next moves, lawsuits, media deals, potential memoirs, Buckingham Palace has quietly turned the page. Ink now replaces pencil. In the margins of this new chapter, names like James, Louise, and George appear with clarity, while others fade like temporary footnotes. King Charles has done more than silence controversy. He has engineered legacy. The royal firm is no longer merely surviving, it is adapting, quietly but decisively, demonstrating that resilience comes not from spectacle, but from preparation, continuity, and strategic vision. Prince James may have risen silently, but the effect is loud. Heritage is preserved, narrative is controlled, and succession is recalibrated. Prince James is no longer merely a royal observer. He is the fortress, the steward, the quiet guardian of Windsor's future. Lady Louise stands beside him, a symbol of loyalty and discipline. Together, they embody the monarchy's deliberate adaptation to a modern, scrutinized world where legacy is measured not by headlines, but by duty fulfilled. And as the first light spreads across the fields of Thornfield, one can see it not merely as an estate, but as a statement, a living testament to strategic foresight, disciplined stewardship, and the enduring power of the crown. If you want to witness history in motion and follow the next generation of the British monarchy, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Stay tuned for every update on Prince James, Lady Louise, and the quietly unfolding future of the House of Windsor.